Good Wednesday evening, everybody. This is Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell with WHAS 11. We are in our new streaming studio powered by Humana, and we have a lot to talk about with the weather this week. December has certainly started off with a bang. Hard to believe that it's only December 10th, I believe, because it feels like we've been with the cold and the snow for quite some time, and we're not out of the woods just yet. In fact, we have a couple of more snow chances through the weekend, and then we have the coldest air of the season so far arriving this weekend. I really want you to pay attention to this forecast because I know this is the time of year where we all have a lot going on around the holidays. We all want to get out and enjoy time with friends and loved ones, but we do have some chances of snowfall. Certainly not a one-size-fits-all forecast, so I'm going to talk about our potential totals, the tracks, the things that could change those totals. And one thing that does look to be locked in is that very cold air that will be arriving on Sunday. So if you are watching this on Facebook, feel free to drop a comment. Hopefully I get to your questions throughout the stream here. But if not, I'll circle back at the end, try to answer them the best of my ability here. But let's go ahead and get rolling because once again, we do have a lot to talk about. So our weather headlines for tonight. Spotty snow showers are possible for tonight and into very early tomorrow morning. I'm not too concerned about this setup. It does look like a better chance will be more so off to our east, I'd say along the I-75 corridor, but we could see some small bursts of snowfall kind of flying around through this evening and into the overnight hours. And yeah, that could create a few slick spots. Now, for our accumulating snows, these are looking to be clipper systems. And these clipper systems, they ride the northwest flow whenever we say aloft, that's higher up in the atmosphere. So, and when we talk about flow or wind, it's always where it's coming from. So it's coming in from the northwest, and that allows these clippers of snow to ride in the wave here. And these can be difficult to forecast because you change that track just a hair, just a county, and that, of course, is going to change our snowfall totals. So we'll take a look at some clippers that we are looking to track late Thursday and then again on Saturday. Saturday is sneaking up on us a bit with a cold front here. As I mentioned, bitterly cold air is on the way Sunday. That's regardless, but if we have fresh snow on the ground, that typically makes it even colder. So certainly something to be concerned about there. Now, in terms of our rounds of snowfall, as I mentioned, chance for some spotty snow showers tonight. Last check, I wasn't seeing too much on the radar. Best chance east of I-65. Better chances, I think, along the I-75 corridor. And then Thursday night. This one looked to be originally kind of in the same time frame where we were seeing a lot of these snow chances, which was after midnight, before sunrise. This one, as of the latest model data, when we start to get the high resolution model data in, that can give us a better idea of timing, and it has sped up a bit. So it's looking to come in starting Thursday evening, taking us into Thursday night, and then the good news is when it comes in earlier, it also exits earlier. So hopefully that gives us more time to clean up the roads on Friday morning. And then the one that I'm now watching is Saturday, sometime Saturday afternoon and evening into Saturday night. This one is interesting because as we were watching this potential throughout the week, it looked like we could see a northern stream and a southern stream of this storm. Will they phase together? Well, now we don't even have that southern stream anymore. Originally, it was kind of going around Kentuckiana, but now Saturday's northern stream is shifting a little bit to the south. And of course, we'll take a look at that in some of the model data tonight. But I just want to put this stat out here. We have picked up more than 5 inches of snowfall so far this season, meteorological winter, which begins December 1st. So basically, we've had 5.3 inches at the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport since December 1st. We typically, of course, as we know, each and every year is a little bit different, but our average is 10.8 for the entire winter season, December, January, February. So we've pretty much picked up half of that in the first week or so of December here. And as I mentioned, we have a lot more on the way. So I'm going to take this graphic full here, Max HD radar. We had some rain around this morning that transitioned into a wintry mix this afternoon. I saw some reports of basically downpours of sleet. You might have gotten thunder sleet. Saw a lightning bolt south of Louisville on the radar earlier today. Might have also seen what's called a grapple. Kind of looks like soft hail or snow pellets. We were getting some reports of that. But of course, temperatures at the surface remaining in the 40s before dropping down into the 30s. Big picture view here. A lot of this moisture now pushing off to the east and northeast, but you're seeing actually more or less lake effect or lake enhanced bands that are now drifting down through portions of Indiana. And as you can tell, that's wanting to stream closer to the Cincinnati area. So when we're talking about better chances east tonight, that's what we're mentioning. And honestly, I'm not too worried about tonight's snow chances at all. The Futurecast overdoing it a bit, in my opinion, this particular model, in showing these little snow bursts overnight. But, you know, if you're out on the roads, you might run into some blowing snow at times. But these are these very little pockets of snow showers here on the backside of the front that moved through earlier today. I will say wind speeds should lessen overnight, which is good because obviously it was a very windy night and a windy day. Those highest wind gusts were when we were dealing with some of those wintry mix showers this afternoon and along the and behind that front there. Heading into tomorrow, could continue to see some light showers. It's hard to turn the snow off sometimes, but not talking accumulations in the morning, maybe some flurries kind of blowing around. Temperatures start off in the upper 20s, and then highs tomorrow will top out in the low to mid 30s. And then take a look at this. So this is one of the weather models that we look at it's technically updated every hour, but it's usually good for short range events. So things that are happening in the next 24 to 48 hours because it's higher resolution. This has precipitation on the table during the 5 o'clock newscast tomorrow. The model has rain, mix, and snow. I do think a lot of this should be a snow event. It's trying to figure out what to do because temperatures at the surface are going to be above freezing. But I think this will be mainly a snow clipper event. And if this holds true, then we're tracking snow tomorrow evening. So 7, 8, 9 o'clock. If you have any Thursday evening plans, you might be dealing with some snowfall. I think especially from Jasper, Paoli, Corydon, down through Shepherdsville, Bardstown, and areas to the northeast. So the interesting thing with this clipper tomorrow night, some of you all who live especially along and south of the parkways, you might be like, what snow? I'm not seeing anything. And Saturday's snow chances look to be somewhat of a similar setup, so we'll talk about that. But this, I'm just showing one model output here. This particular model has it moving off to our east and northeast pretty quickly. I mean, this is 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you just have a little bit of leftover moisture here. So that is different than what we were looking at with the long-range data, which had it around a little bit longer Friday morning. Okay, now I'm going to show a second weather model. It's also high resolution, but it's an in-house model. This has the flurries around tomorrow morning. And then this one comes in a little bit later, but we're still talking 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tomorrow. This must be the latest run. This looks a little bit different. This is midnight tomorrow, and then as we carry on into Friday morning, it's starting to exit. But as you can tell, this one dove a little bit farther to the south and has lingered a little bit longer. And so with that, obviously, you can expect some greater snowfall totals if that scenario wins out. Regardless, Friday afternoon, we're still talking temperatures warming into the mid-30s in southern Indiana, where the heaviest snow likely will be, upper 30s near 40 in Louisville, and low 40s in south central Kentucky, maybe even mid-40s. I wouldn't be surprised in those areas that don't see snow. So whatever snow we do pick up Thursday evening, Thursday night, conditions should really improve on Friday. All right, so this is my first stab at a snowfall forecast for today. I was feeling pretty confident about this event yesterday, actually. The long-range models were painting a similar picture, and, you know, the clipper still looks to arrive. But the high-resolution models, you could see from those two models that I just showed you, those are very different setups. One lingers a little bit longer and dives a little bit farther to the southwest. One comes in earlier and then pushes off to the northeast very quickly. So this is kind of a blend of all the thinking that I have here. Louisville, I'm keeping us at an inch, maybe 2. But just off to our northeast, I do think we will have some areas in Kentuckiana picking up 3 to 4 inches of snowfall. Now, the consensus has been the farther northeast that you do go. So areas like Seymour, North Vernon, Carrollton, maybe up to Scottsburg as well. And then on the southwest side, that has been pretty consistent in the fact that there's going to be a sharp cutoff there. Especially because as snow is falling, we're talking mid-30s, so some of that might be melting as it reaches the ground. And I do think there's going to be areas like if you live in Litchfield, down in Hart County, Adair County, sorry, if you're wanting snow, you're going to have to travel a little bit farther to the north. So if you're watching this delayed, I put this together Thursday afternoon. We have more data that rolls in really starting at about 8 o'clock and then later on tonight. So the hope is as this system actually gets closer to us, its exact path is a lot more defined. And then we'll be able to know, where these cutoffs will be, because you shift this to the north or south, a county, Louisville could be in that 2 to 4 range, or we could be in that less than 1 inch range. So these setups are difficult because for the people who want snow, you may lose out. For the people who don't want snow, you could get the heaviest. It's just how it goes here. But the National Weather Service did go ahead and issue winter weather advisories. And as you can see, that lines up pretty well with the snow map that I just showed you that I put together. So the purple is where we could see the heaviest amounts. And we're talking heaviest between 2 to 4 inches with this snow. So you don't have all that Gulf moisture that we had last week, but still an impactful snow if you're out traveling Thursday night into very early Friday morning. So these winter weather advisories have been issued. If you actually read the commentary behind the winter weather advisories, they say anywhere between 1 to 4 inches because 1 inch is kind of that protocol for it, at least an inch of snowfall. So you can tell that northwest to southeast kind of corridor there where that clipper is looking to impact. So now let's walk through the models. This is something that I wouldn't do on air, but it kind of gives you this behind the scenes look at what we're looking at. Obviously, there's more meteorology that goes into it rather than just looking at numbers, but this gives you an idea of the different kinds of scenarios here. So this first one, oh shoot, hold on. Don't look at that one yet. There's my snow map. Okay. Here's a snowfall potential map. All right. Sorry, I had an extra graphic in there. I was like, wait, that's not right. Okay, so this is the HRRR, and this is the one that I showed you. This is one of the models that I showed you earlier that had it moving in earlier, but moving out earlier. And as you can tell, this one's very low on snow totals. This has Louisville at like 1/2 inch by Friday morning, but still 1 to 3 inches just to our northeast and then lower amounts to the southwest. So usually I personally have a lot of bias with the HRRR in that I look at it a lot because it is updated every hour. Now we are getting a new run in pretty much right now, but my particular weather system doesn't have that in here right now. But I'll be curious to see what the new model runs look like. So that's the HRRR. This one's the NAM. This one can also be updated pretty frequently. This one, it kind of falls a little bit closer in line to what we're thinking, but take a look at that sharp cutoff. So to the northeast of Louisville, you have 1 to 3, even up to 4 inches. To the southwest, you got nada. I mean, we're talking 1/10 of an inch in E-Town and Bardstown, 1 inch in Louisville, but even if you look closely at Jefferson County, you have gray and you have blue. So you have less than 1 inch and then some areas between 1 inch and 2 inches. So those are the lower amounts here. We have the GFS. So this is the long range model. And this is what we look at days out because it's what goes days out. So this one brings those slightly higher totals a little bit farther to the south and southwest, maybe a little bit more in line with my snow map, obviously higher 2.7 in Louisville. And then last but not least, the European model, which looks fairly similar to the GFS model. So the long-range models are looking similar. The high-resolution models have been trending maybe a little bit quicker or farther to the northeast. As I mentioned, the exact track of this clipper system will dictate how much snowfall we get. So that's just a little behind the scenes of all the different numbers that we've been looking at. And then here's that Saturday update. So earlier in the week, Some of the models wanted to bring a storm over us. Some of them had a northern side and a southern side of the system. Now we just have a northern side. So this is with a cold front that's actually going to be drifting through the region on Saturday. That Arctic air comes into play, and you have probably fluffier snow out of this. Because when temperatures are colder, you have a higher snow ratio, and you don't need as much moisture to produce some of those higher amounts. So this could be your Saturday evening into Saturday night. Along and north of I-64 could get some snow showers. And I'll be watching this closely because, as I mentioned, I know it's a time of year where a lot of people are out and about, maybe going to holiday parties or things like that. So that is a newer development. And honestly, we're focusing kind of on Thursday night first, and then we'll see how that plays out. And then we'll focus on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. After that point, this does clear out pretty quickly Sunday. If you have Sunday plans, the biggest deal will be how the roads look and the temperatures, because temperatures will be plummeting. So we're under this northwest flow, which allows for those clipper systems to roll through here. And then we bottom out Sunday, really all day Sunday. Sunday morning, temperatures in the teens, if not the single digits. Everything's coming in colder now, especially with this additional Saturday snow chance. So typically, if you have snow on the ground, you're colder. Snowpack just makes you colder, and that can be somewhat of a feedback loop there. But you have this northwest flow, these clipper systems, and just the Arctic chill to begin with. I will say, if you want that silver lining, we have, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We got a few days here of some wintry weather, and then we do have an end to this. So we thaw out pretty quickly next week. It's funny, we've been joking about, what if we have all this cold air and snow the first half of December, and then Christmas we're 70 degrees. Don't think it's going to be that extreme, but there are some signals that we warm up in time for Christmas and Christmas week. So anyway, here's that 7-day forecast here. I will make this full. You can see a lot of red, and we may even have to add red on the second half of Saturday. So as I mentioned, with that potential additional clipper Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening into Saturday night, if that hangs on, we'll probably have to add a weather impact alert to that, because if you're out and about Saturday night and we have accumulating snow, you'll certainly want to know about that. Temperatures are dropping. I did just give in and put our high in the teens now on Sunday with overnight lows in the single digits. That will be all dependent on how much snow we have on the ground. Just know it'll be cold regardless. We'll definitely be below freezing. Wind chills could be below 0 Sunday morning. And I'll be filling in actually Sunday morning, so I'll let you know just how cold we get. Monday morning, lots of chill there also for the kiddos heading to the bus stop, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But as you can tell, we're back above freezing by Tuesday. And this is the models who have a lot of snowpack. So even they are saying, hey, we're back in the mid to maybe upper 40s by Wednesday with some rain chances returning. So 7-day forecast there. Stay weather alert. Thursday night, I think conditions should greatly improve throughout the day Friday. We'll see who gets the snow, who wins, and who loses. And then Saturday, snow chance kind of creeping on in here. So that's a sneaky one that we're watching. Sunday, cold regardless. And I'm just going to throw this up here, a reminder. We love to see your weather photos and videos. We're starting a segment now on our weekly weather streaming show, Weather or Not, where we're going to pick a viewer photo of the week. And obviously, when we do have snow in the area, we like to show those snowfall pictures and videos on air as well during our regular newscast. So there's that number. Save it in your phone, 502-582-7290. This is the number that you can send weather questions to. A lot of times we use that during severe weather streaming, but weather photos and videos get sent to us that way. You can email your photos to us if you prefer that. Or there's a Facebook group. If you're not part of it, request to be part of it, Kentucky, Indiana Cloud Watchers, and I'll let you in. But we would love to see your weather photos and videos there. And once again, we do have a weekly weather streaming show here on WHAS 11 Plus called Weather or Not. And this week, we're going to talk about the 4-year anniversary of course, December 10th and 11th, 4 years ago in 2021, the devastating tornadoes that we saw in western Kentucky. So we're going to recap that, take a look at the rebuilding process years later, and also take a look back at some of the meteorology side of it. We're going to talk a lot more, obviously, about the chill that we're seeing this week. It's also Winter Weather Awareness Week, fittingly, for Kentucky. So we have some winter weather awareness tips. And we'll take a look at other things across the country as well, other weather events that are occurring, because even though this side of the country is dealing with the bitter cold and snow, we also have the Pacific Northwest dealing with a lot of rain and flooding. So once again, that's whether or not we record a new episode each week. It streams on Thursdays at 8 o'clock. But here's a look at that 7-day forecast here. So for tonight, just a recap for anybody who hopped on here a little bit late, we could see some spotty snow showers out there tonight. I'm not expecting much for us. I think a lot of this will be more so off to the east, but, you know, it's just something to monitor there if you're out driving, especially closer to the I-75 corridor, I think. And then Thursday night, we're watching that clipper coming in from the northwest. Louisville, maybe in that 1 to 2 inch spot. Higher amounts 2 to 4 to the northeast, and then much lower amounts sharp cutoff to the south and southwest. So this will certainly be a snow where some of you all see it, others don't. We'll see a lot of melting, though, it looks like on Friday, so that's good. Before another snow chance Saturday afternoon, evening into Saturday night. That's creeping in a little bit farther south. So we'll have to watch that, I think, especially along and north of I-64. That could bring another inch, another 2 inches, maybe even more than that, 2 to 4 farther north. So it's a lot of these couple inch snows here or there. And then the bitter cold on Sunday, that's going to be there regardless. Temperatures may tweak a degree or two depending on how much snow cover we do have on the ground. Just know that those wind chills, we're going to have some wind Sunday morning. So those wind chills will be very cold if you're heading to church, or if you have any plans early Sunday, will be pretty brutal out there. That takes us into Monday morning, and then that gradual warming next week. So December, it is keeping us busy here in the weather department. It's always a busy time of year anyway around the holidays, you know. But keeping us on our toes. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on it for you. I will be back on air tonight at 11 p.m. on WHAS 11. We got you covered all day tomorrow as well. I'm going to look at the latest model data tonight and bring it to you tonight at 11. But in the meantime, stay warm, stay safe, and I'll catch you on WHAS 11 News at 11. Have a good one.